Well, hello. My name is Ruby Pichel, and welcome to Conscious Leadership. And this time we are going to talk about what is your relationship to Source? And what would happen if you would destroy it and be able to create it again? Some time ago, I remember I was sharing this with a group of friends. And when I talk about relationship or relationships in general, we all have a different point of view about relationships. And I'm not going into all of that right now to my point of view of what a relationship is. But basically, I see, well, relationship, if you look it up in a dictionary, it's the distance between two objects. And then when you are in a relationship in this reality, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship or a family relationship or a relationship to you or a relationship to Source, that relationship becomes like a third entity between you and the other object. So I had been playing with that in destroying and uncreating the relationships, in facilitating the relationships. So facilitating the relationship means that the relationship entity might have questions or might need a clearing or might need a contribution or might be willing to contribute to you. And with all of my experience in looking at relationships in a different way, I had never looked at my relationship to Source or to God in that way. And I had facilitated all different kinds of relationships in my life, but never that to Source. So I was asking the question, what if I would destroy and uncreate my relationship to God? And all of the projections, expectations, separation, judgments, and rejections. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, poc, shows, boys, boats, and beyonds. And so I was sharing that with my friends, and they were like, oh, no, you're not going to destroy and uncreate that relationship. Why do you want to do that? So in destroying and uncreating a relationship, you're actually destroying and uncreating all of the limitations, all of the projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections that you have on that relationship that is strangulating that relationship, that is making it unhealthy. And having a look at the relationship as a third entity, the relationship becomes an energy. The relationship becomes a consciousness. And when you communicate with that consciousness, it will talk back to you. And it can say something along the lines of, you've been suffocating me. You've been hurting me. You've been refusing me. You've been denying me. You've been avoiding me. All these things. And if I would ask the question, well, relationship, what do you require? It could repeat back to me, well, please acknowledge me. Please give me affection. Please love me. Please trust me. And if I would ask the relationship, what can I receive from you? It could also say, well, receive my trust. Receive my love and my caring. So you could have this completely different understanding with a consciousness that is the created relationship between you and something else. And instead of seeing it as a distance or a separation, it becomes a part of everything. And that is where it becomes oneness. So yeah, it took guts to destroy and uncreate my relationship to God. And at the same time, it cleared up space. It gave me space. It gave me a sense of relief and a sense of freedom. Because I never really had a good relationship to Source. I have been exploring it for a very long time. And you think you found it, or you think you're doing the right things. But when I was looking at my relationship to Source and my refusal, me denying things, me not knowing things, me judging it, am I doing it the right way? Am I doing it the wrong way? All of these judgments and expectations and projections are suffocating the relationship. And sometimes the relationship just wants to be cleared from all of that. Because all of these are energies, right? If an entity is a consciousness, and thoughts, feelings, and emotions are all little bits of consciousness, and we project it all on something, and all of the judgments are like little locks that keep it stuck, then it could be very liberating to just destroy and uncreate all of that times a godzillion. And so that's what I did. And it gave me space. And it gave me a lightness in my world. And a few weeks after I chose to do that, I experienced something in a meditation. And in that meditation, I invited God, Source, the universe, into my space. And as it was into my space, it was asking me questions. And it was asking me, would you like to know what it's like to be loved by me? How being loved by me feels? Would you like to know? And I was like, oh, well, sure, I would. What would it feel like? What does it feel like? And then this energy picked me up, and it started spinning me around, and it started dipping me in chocolate and twirling. And I was just laughing out loud. I was giggling. I had such a smile on my face, and it was so much more than a sense of lightness. It was, well, like being dipped in chocolate. And while that was happening, and I was like, oh, that kind of laughter where you're just enjoying the moment and enjoying the sensation. And it was just so much fun. And then it stopped. And I was like, oh, wow. And what it showed me next was a few relationships that I had chosen in the past. Relationships that weren't bad. Relationships where I thought, well, this is it. This is amazing. If this is it, I'm happy. I love this. But they ended. So, and I remember that when they ended, I was like, oh, how does this happen? Like, I thought this was something. And also when it ended, I was like, my immediate reaction was, oh, well, then this means that universe has something better planned for me. Well, what else is possible? Right? But, it's still a painful process that you go through, even though you ask questions and all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. So in that meditation, after being dipped in chocolate, and I was shown these relationships that I thought were amazing, that I valued. And the energy of it was flat. like compared to what God just made me feel like, the energy that I thought was amazing suddenly became so flat, so empty. And I started looking at that. I was like, oh, well, what was I willing to settle for? And then he asked me, do you want me to do it again? I was like, can I? And he's like, yeah. And he started picking me up and swirling me around and dipping me in chocolate. And there I was on that fun roller coaster again, sensing, living, experiencing the true love of Source. And he's like, this is what I have in store for you. Don't settle. Don't settle for less. Now you know what it feels like. Being dipped in chocolate, this is what it feels like. My love, this is what it feels like. And don't settle for anything less. And yes, you can choose it. No problem. You can choose anything you like. But is that actually what is for your highest good? If that is not all that is out there for you, why settle for less if I tell you that this is available for you, that you already have this, because I already have this for you, and this is what it feels like. And you can check, you can check anything like, does this match the energy? And so me being willing to look at my relationship to Source and to boldly destroy and uncreate my relationship to God and all of the projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections that I have of Him, that I have of this relationship. I destroy and uncreate all of it times a gazillion, right, wrong, good, bad, papa, kanishers, boys, povits, and beyonds. And it cleared the space. And it cleared the space for Him and for me to come closer together and to actually choose and experience something else that I had never experienced before from nobody, and not even from Him, because I had all these projections and expectations on this relationship where I started having judgments and separating myself from it, where I couldn't even receive it. I could not receive that experience of being loved that feels like being dipped in chocolate. And maybe like being dipped in chocolate doesn't even cover it. But that was kind of what it was like. So what is your relationship to Source? And are you willing to have a look? Like, I'm not asking you to believe in God. I'm not asking you to believe anything I say. I'm not asking you to do or build anything. I'm just asking you, what is your relationship to Source? And have a look. And to be willing to destroy and uncreate all of the limitations that we have invented and created and decided that it's true. And then we blame and we judge when our life fails. When we, in fact, have placed all these limitations on our lives. And it's always energy first, right? Everything that happens, all the experiences are just a manifestation of what is in the energy. And if in the energy things are suffocating, if in the energy everything is judged and stuck and heavy, then how can you expect your life to be light and easy and joyful? It's never going to happen. Everything that is manifesting in the physical comes from what is true in the energy. Always, always, always energy first. So if there is something that you don't like, if there is an experience that you actually do not want to experience, ask the energy to show you what is really going on. What have you really chosen unconsciously, probably? But everything that shows up comes from choice. Because even an unconscious choice is a choice. A choice is a choice, whether it's unconscious or conscious, it is a choice. And even not choosing is a choice. And as we're talking about choice, let me share a thing with you that I saw recently, and I shared it yesterday with some people, and they were amazed, like I was amazed when I heard it. So I saw this story online where a group of people could make a choice to go either with God or the devil. And there was this fence in the middle, and you could just make a choice. Do I go on this end? Do I go on the other end? You make a choice. So everybody went on one side or the other. And there was this guy who was on the fence, right? He couldn't make a choice. He's like, I don't know what to do yet. Like, we have our pros and our cons, and should I go this way? Should I go that way? He didn't know. And it's like, I am not going to choose. I'm not going to choose for God, but I'm not going to choose for the devil. So he stayed on the fence. And so God took the people and the devil took the people. And then a few seconds later, the devil came back and he's like, hey, I forgot you. Come, we're going that way. And he's like, oh, no, I'm on the fence. I haven't chosen. And the devil was, well, the fence is mine. The fence is mine, he said. Come on. So you being on the fence, you choosing to be on the fence, you not choosing either left or right, dark or light, means you're choosing darkness. It's that easy. There is no choice. There is only choice. So think about it. And a response that I got from this one from somebody was like, so yeah, that also means that doubting is of the devil. Exactly. And doubting is also one of the distractor implants, which I call the tools of the devil. It's a low frequency emotion, keeps you in low frequency. Like, there are all kinds of ways that you can look at it. But basically, yeah, doubting is being on the fence, and the fence is of the devil. He got the fence. So know this. Ask questions about this. And know that choosing consciousness requires a commitment. It requires a conscious choice to go and to be on a certain side of the fence. There is no in between. There is no in between. So that would also mean if you feel like you are not there yet, or you feel like you're waiting, or you feel like certain things need to happen in order for you to reach a certain place, just know that you haven't chosen it yet. You haven't chosen it, and that's why it's not showing up. Because always energy first, then it manifests in the physical. So what have you not yet chosen? That if you would be willing to choose it, it would shift and change your reality. And what relationship with you and Source have you not yet been willing to destroy and uncreate so you can be free? So you can choose again and again every day for a relationship with no limitations, for a relationship with no projections, expectations, separations, and judgments and rejections. Because you are rejecting you. You are rejecting life. You are rejecting your body. And how can you do life without you? How can you do life without your body? I mean, you are alive because of your body. So live your life. Have you chosen to live your life? Have you chosen to live? Yes or no? Oh my gosh, this is a completely different conversation, which we are not going to have today, but we will someday. But I will ask it anyway now. Have you chosen life? Have you chosen to live? Have you chosen to celebrate life? And is that a fuck yes or is it a fuck no? If it's not a fuck yes, it's a fuck no. Ask that question. So I'm just going to leave it here. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps. And let me know if you have any questions or you'd like a deeper conversation about this one. I love you. Bye.